Hi, it's Dave Dobbins.
Hi, I'm Lavila Kraft.
And welcome to Victory Videos. On today's program, we're going to talk about God's timing and how it affects us in our lives. And we're going to have a special bio look at the artist Cindy Morgan. But first, let's talk about God's timing. Lavila, do you ever notice that sometimes you're in a situation where you're right at the end of your rope and you just feel like giving up and then
all of a sudden, there comes the answer.
There comes the answer.
And you're saved.
And you're saved just right at the last minute.
Yeah,
well,
and you wonder, where'd that come from?
Exactly. Well, that's God's timing, and that's what we're going to talk about today on Victory Videos, how to kind of figure out and make it through that situation and how to notice when it happens.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to see some great music videos. We're going to get started right away because first of all, this is a hot song. This is Crystal Lewis. I really like her. She's been around for a long, long time. This is called I Now Live, followed by P.
P-F-R. I was like, is that an F?
P-F-R. Pray for rain. And this is about a dog. It's called Goldie's Last Day.
This
Sorry,
sounds sad.
The dog died. 2 in a row.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, the dog died. Check it out. Victory Video. It did.
That's terrible.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
Many people in the world walk around with a hole in the heart. And many people of the world try to fill that hole. The latest in the time. Many people in the world will never truly be set free. Yeah. The only reason that we live is Christ came down and died for you and me. I now live because Christ died. And though he suffered it all for me. I now live because Christ died. And though he suffered it all for me. Yeah.
Second verse.
Falling in and out of love is what the world is turning to.
Turn it to.
Never really satisfied, not really sure, always need some more. Looking for another way, without the right to get the pay. The wages of the righteous man bring a life, he gets your needs saved. I now live because Christ died. And though it suffered it all for me. I now live because Christ died. And though it suffered it all for I now live because he died. He died so I can live. I now live because he died. He died so I can live. I now live because he died. I know he died so I can live. He did it just for me.
Because he hung, I can hang like Crystal Saint. Because he died, I wonder why that you won't even try. Take a step, repeat this process, not less but more. Check what's in store.
I now live because Christ died. And though he suffered it all for me. I now live because Christ died. Though he suffered it did it just for me. I now live because he died. He died so I can live.
puppy love. Yes, she gave all she had. Not like a brother or sister, more like a mom or a dad. We never asked her, never gave her a choice. We just barked out commands. Sit, stay, don't bite, stop licking my hands. Those days are gone now. I wish Goldie could come out and play. Goldie's last day, Goldie's last day. If a picture paints 1,000 words, there's nothing left to say. Wish you could have been there for Goldie's last day. She was 11 to you and me. What's that in dog years? 77, that's more than 11. She outlived her peers. Talk around town as that Goldie passed away. Goldie's last day, Goldie's last day. If a picture paints 1,000 words, there's nothing left to say. Wish you could have been there for Goldie's last day.
We are confident that this incident was not an accident.
As per our investigation.
Confident that this incident was not an accident. We are confident that this incident was not an accident.
She never missed the vaccination.
Accident was not an accident.
Goldie's last day, Goldie's last day. If a picture paints 1,000 words, there's nothing left to say. Wish you could have been there for Goldie's last day. Wish you could have been there for Goldie's last day.
True financial success is guaranteed only to those.
I was on that fast track to grad school, but I took a different turn and headed for Africa. I joined the Peace Corps. We're turning deserts into farmland.
Each one of you has the capacity to achieve greatness.
Sure, I'll head off to grad school at some point, but right now I'm learning things that just don't teach you in textbooks. And where in the States you're gonna find a campus like this?
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love. No matter what you're running from, there's someone to run to. Covenant House. No matter what your problem is, we're here to listen. Wherever you are, we can get you help. So call us now on the 9 line. It's free. 1-800 and keep dialing 9.
Hey, nice try, dummies.
Take a hike, Thurston. He's no crash dummy, not a scratch on him.
Thurston's my hero.
Why is that, my little battered buddy?
Because he gets to wear the safety belt.
No wonder he's still got his original paint job.
You can't hate a dummy for being smart.
I guess so.
Here he comes.
Hey, keep up the good work, guys.
Buckle it up, Thurston.
I always do.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Well, welcome back to Victory Videos. I'm Livy LaCraft, and my buddy Dave's over here. Today we're talking about God's timing. Hey Dave, have you ever been in one of those situations like we talked about before and you gave up? A lot of times those things, you know, it just gets to where you just cannot stand the burden anymore and you just flat out just don't know what to do, so you give up.
Yeah. I think a lot of us do give up, Lavila, because we don't always know that there is a God there that we can talk to, that we can trust in. And I think the biggest problem is that we just we don't know who to turn to.
Right.
But we want to share with you today, right in the beginning of this program, that you can turn to God and you can say, Lord, I need your help. And I like the scripture that says, love God with all your heart and soul and mind. That's the start of understanding God's timing. So if we know His heart, that's what helps us. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's important too to remember that you don't always have to wait until it's a horrible, terrible mess. You know, get involved with God in the beginning. And He can help you out.
Get down on your knees and say, help me out.
Yeah, right.
Well, up next we've got a music video from Stephen Curtis Chapman, and this is called
Old Buddy Steve, For the Sake of the Call.
Check it out on Victory Videos.
Nobody stood and applauded them, so they knew from the start this road would not lead to fame. All they really knew for sure was Jesus had called to them. He said, come follow me, and they came with reckless abandon. They came. Empty nets lying there at the water's edge told a story that few could believe, or none could explain. How some crazy fishermen agreed to go where Jesus led, with no thought for what they would gain. For Jesus had called them by name, and they answered, we will abandon it all for the sake of the call. No other reason at all but the sake of the call. Only devoted to live and to die for the sake of the drawn like the rivers are drawn to the sea. Oh, there's no turning back, for the water cannot help but flow. Once we hear the Savior's call, we'll follow wherever He leads, because of the love He has shown, and because He has called us to go. We will answer, we will abandon it all for the sake of the call. No other reason at all but the sake of the call. Wholly devoted to live and to die, not for the sake of a creed or a cause, not for a dream or a promise, simply because it is Jesus who calls, and if we believe, we'll obey. Oh, we will abandon it all for the sake of the call. No other reason at all but the sake of the call. Oh, we will
said, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up a cross. Come, follow me, for the sake of the cause. Sing it with me. Say we will abandon it all for the sake of the cause. No other reason at all but the sake of the cause. Only devoted to live and to die for the sake of the cause. For the sake of the cause. For the sake of the cause. For the sake of the cause.
And welcome back. That was Stephen Curtis Chapman.
I like
For the
him.
Sake of the Call. Man, that's a great album. Super stuff. Well, if you just joined us, we're talking about God's timing. We're talking about, in this segment, talking about having faith. Now, how many of you and how many of us have you been in a situation where you're out of money, the rent is due, you're out of a job, you got no money for groceries, but somehow you believe that you're going to make it?
That's me all the time.
That's me all the time,
me.
right? But that's
I don't
faith.
worry about it. I don't worry about it. It's, I just don't worry about it. My husband worries a lot, but
But essentially, if we believe that everything's going to be all right, that God's somebody that can provide for us, that's faith. That's having faith. Don't you agree?
yeah, I do agree. And there's too many people that are in that situation where they fake like everything's going to be okay. They don't really know that they can depend on the Lord.
You know, LaVille, if we all knew all the details of what's going to happen in our lives, then we really wouldn't need a God.
You're right.
Okay? And then we wouldn't have to have somebody to trust him because we wouldn't know.
Call your psychic friend.
That's right. That's right. That's where that stuff comes in. It's
That's
very,
right.
very untrue.
That's true.
So beginning a relationship with Jesus Christ begins to teach us how to have that faith, and allows us to have trust and faith in
Yeah,
him.
trust.
Sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
You can keep dropping that.
Yeah,
all
I'll
you
keep
want.
dropping this the whole show. Up next, we're going to take a look at our bio with Cindy Morgan, and followed by her video, How Could I Ask for More? She's great.
Yeah.
Here's Cindy Morgan.
Cindy Morgan's debut album may have been called Real Life, but the story of her career reads more like a fairy tale.
I started writing when I was 10 or 11. And just remembering some of the songs that I wrote. I started really figuring out a style, I guess when I was 13 or 14. I went through my first romantic tragedy, and wrote my first love song. I had a 5-note range, I had no range. I would just sit down at the piano and play, and I just started playing. I just kind of taught myself. I walked in the Word and I saw Amy Grant's gold record on the wall, and I was so scared. And I remember I was so afraid to believe that it was really happening for so long, because it was such a lifelong dream, that I felt like such a kid.
For starters, Cindy's first ever radio single, Let It Be Love, exploded onto the airwaves, quickly reaching the #1 spot on the CCM charts with a first time ever perfect rating score of 100 points. That happened 2 more times with the next 2 singles, leading the way for Cindy's 4th #1 single, her duet with Carmen, Somewhere Within the Heart. With a spectacular introduction like that, it's no wonder that Cindy was the first debut artist invited to be a part of the all-star lineup on the hugely successful Young Messiah Tour.
Every valley shall be exalted. Shall be exalted.
Next, she was asked to open for 40 dates on Stephen Curtis Chapman's Great Adventure Tour.
Cindy really believes what she sings, and she sings the songs about her relationship with the Lord because that's the absolute most important thing in her life, and that's the only thing she wants to sing about. And I think she's one of the greatest singers in music right now, any kind of music.
Hey, this is us eating dinner like we do every night.
This is how we disco in Tennessee!
What's for supper, Grandpa? That's good.
5 minutes, Miss Morgan.
I want to tell you I got your tape and you signed it at CBA and I played it literally every day and it froze up, so I had to buy another one. I had to buy a CD.
Thank you, Lord.
So we can be normal now.
How could I ask for more?
In no time at all, Cindy earned 5 1993 Gospel Music Association Dove Award nominations, carrying home the award for Best New Artist.
The Dove Award for New Artist of the Year goes to Cindy Morgan.
Thank you all so much. This has been an incredible year for me. First, I would like to thank God, because the reason that it's been an incredible year is because He has been so good to bring so many wonderful people into my life.
One man in a robe of perfection gave grace of His own. Look into your own reflection. There's nothing like the warmth of a summer afternoon. Waking to the sunlight, being cradled by the moon, catching fireflies at night, building castles in the sand, kissing mama's face goodnight and holding daddy's hand. Thank you, Lord. How could I ask for more? Running barefoot through the grass, a little hide and go seek, being so in love that you can hardly eat, dancing in the dark when there's no one else around, being bundled neath the covers, watching snow fall to the ground. Thank you, Lord. How could I ask for more? So many things I thought would bring me happiness, some dreams that are realities today. Such an irony, the things that mean the most to me are the memories that I've made along the way.
If there's anything I've learned from this journey I'm on, simple truths will keep you going, simple love will keep you strong. 'Cause there are questions without answers, and flames that never die, and heartaches we go through are often blessings in disguise. So thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. Yeah. How could I ask for more? Give grace of His love. Look into your own reflection before you cast the stone. Think twice before you cast the stone. This world may never be a place where pain is safe, but there will be a day when we can live together. Yeah, we can live together.
There are songs on this record that are so vulnerable that it's almost scary. Until I come to a place where I'm willing to reach out into the darkness and say, okay, I'm totally walking in the dark here, God, but I'm going to reach out and I'm going to walk through the dark, trusting and believing that you're going to take me where you want me to go. If you'll reach out to Him, He'll be reaching in.
So when you break, so when you fall, can't find the strength to care at all, there is a way, there is a plan. If you reach out to Him, He'll be reaching in.
You know, sometimes I sit down at the piano. I can't really describe it other than when I'm there and when I'm alone and when no one else is around. You know, it's basically just pure emotion, you know, because there's no reason to hide what you feel. There's no reason to keep people at an arm's length, to keep anything at an arm's length. And it's maybe the only time that I really let whatever I'm going through take over, you know, and overwhelm me. And that's what it is to me. That's what songwriting and singing is. And it can easily be turned into something else, into a commodity. And I never want it to be that. And it's such a connection to God. It's such a line to Him. Because when I'm in that room, He's there.
He was looking for someone who could keep him guessing. A little fever tap dance of emotion. She was looking for someone who could keep her happy. Two ships collide on different oceans. You know how the story goes, how it's bound to end.
There are countries where bread is scarce, but this is America. Countries where electricity is rare, but this is America. Countries where infant mortality is a problem, but this is America. Here, it's a crisis. Every 13 minutes, another infant dies. But we can help prevent many of those deaths with prenatal care from programs like Healthy Start. Find out what you can do. Why? Because this is America.
This is where I live. There are lots of doctors and machines for me and the other kids. Last week, a guy named Mike came. He took us all on a camping trip.
Mike gives up a weekend a month to help a disabled child, but he gets back a feeling that lasts forever.
When I get better, you know what? I'm gonna take Mike fishing.
To find out what you can do in your community, call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
October 1987. A small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help, lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea. A way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
Welcome back to Victory Videos. We're so glad that you tune in every week.
Thanks.
Today we're talking about God's timing. Dave.
Yes.
I know this is one of your favorites.
Yes.
But have you thought about how God predetermines everything in our lives?
Mm-hmm.
There is a season.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, sing it. Sing it.
To everything. Turn,
He loves this.
Turn. Well, I like the scripture from Ecclesiastes 3, which says that God predetermines the events of our life. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Which means that, they're singing over here outside the camera.
Such talent.
Yeah, such talent. Keep it up, Chuck. I really like it because it makes me think that God is the Lord of space and time, Lavila, and that He has everything in control. And really, I think that lots of people try to figure it all out, but if we just trust God and just
have faith
and know that He is the Lord of all space and time, that you will learn how.
And it really helps to alleviate some of that stress and that load on your back, too.
That's right. Yeah. We learn how to understand God's timing that way better.
Right.
All right, what's up next?
What's up next?
Girl.
What's up girl? Hothouse flowers. I'm a gardener, so I really enjoy this.
Check this out. This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Check it out on Victory Videos. This is it.
Oh, you remember that?
This is the thing. This is it.
Been laid down on the floor, been looking around for your family. Now your body's tired and sore. Well, there's rest that's on the water, and there's an answer on the street. And if you take the time to listen, there's a chance you will meet your soul. This is it. This is your soul. This is it. Oh, when your world falls down around you, not the most comfortable place. You've been looking into a room full of strangers, but now you recognize one face. It's a reflection in the water. It's the word that's in the streets, saying now's the time to listen. Take the time to meet your soul. Talking at you not with you. And you're bored with what's around. And you've tried all the quacks, all the doctors, and all you really need is a healing sound. Or just listen to the waters, find the answer on the streets. Because now it's time to listen. Now it's time to meet your soul. Now this is it. It's time to meet your soul. Your flying soul. This is it. This is your soul. This is it. Set free your soul. This is it. Set it free. And let the light inside shine from the inside out. This is it. Oh, let the light inside shine from the inside out. This is it. This is it. The light inside. Let the light inside be a light inside. This is be a light outside. Oh, let the light inside shine from the inside out. This is it. This is your soul. This is it. This is it.
Welcome back to Victory Videos. Hope you're having a good time and enjoying our show.
We are.
Hey, listen, if you haven't called anybody up on the phone, tell them to get it on right now. Turn on Victory Videos because we got more of a great show for you, don't we,
Yes,
Lavilla?
you see these two idiots.
Two idiots, yeah. We're having fun, though. We're looking at Cindy Morgan on today's program and really how God has worked His timing in her life, which is what you just saw in the last segment. Now we're going to talk a little bit about God's providence.
Explain that.
Okay, well, sometimes we don't even realize how many times God intervenes on our behalf, you know. Some people believe in angels, some people don't. I'm not going to get into that today. But, you know, God really intervenes and does a lot of things. It's His providence that seems to guide us.
That kind of reminds me, it reminds me of this little story that someone told me about how there was a man that was shipwrecked and he was out in the middle of the ocean on a little log or whatever, and he says, "Oh, God, can you help me?" And so a boat comes by. And they say, "Hey, can we give you a hand?" "No, I'm waiting on God to help me." You know, be aware that there are people out there that God will provide to help you.
But God, you know, God's providence, Lavilla, is like knowing His will as at work, is at work. Knowing His will is at work. It's trust really at work. So that's really kind of understanding God's timing.
Right.
Just like He's done in Cindy Morgan's life, and your life, and my life, and in your life.
Has He done that in your life?
That's
too?
right. He's more than a friend.
That's right.
And that's what Helen Baylor's going to sing about right now.
That was great.
He's more than a friend from Helen Baylor. Check
He's
it
so
out
smooth.
on Victory Videos. I know I stepped on what you were saying,
That was cool.
but I'm just going to just use that right on through.
Nowhere to go. Your future holds no promises. You're at an all-time low. Whatever you do is just not enough. You feel like giving up. Thoughts of cashing in on them. Every situation is a nowhere. I know someone who's there. On him you can cast your burden. To him you can give your care. 'Cause he's more than a friend, a true friend who sticks closer than a brother, more than a friend. Yes, he will. At times I've been discouraged, thoughts of turning back, questioning my destiny, bound up when I should be free. To the crowd it seemed I'd made it. Inside my heart was breaking, my mountain seemed too high to climb, but he was with me all the time. I know someone who's there. On him you can cast your burden, to him you can give your care, 'cause he's more than a friend, a true friend that will love you at all times. More than a friend, oh yeah. He's more than a friend, more than a friend. A real friend sticks closer than a brother, more than a friend. He's more than a friend to me, yeah. How can I repay you for what you've done? I never could. How can I replace you? I never would, 'cause you're the only one for me. More than a friend to me, more than a friend. Whenever I need him, I just call on him. So we're right there. More than a friend to me, more than a friend. A real friend that loves me at all times. Oh, more than a friend to me, more than a friend.
This is the brain activity of a normal 14-year-old. This is the brain activity of a 14-year-old after smoking marijuana. If you use pot, you're not using your brain.
Because disaster strikes someone every single day, there's always going to be one more night someone needs food, shelter, and a place to rest. Please support the American Red Cross. Because without your help, one more night could be hard to come by.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Welcome back. That was Helen Baylor with More Than a Friend. Isn't that a beautiful
That is
song?
a really nice song.
It's beautiful. Well, you know, we're talking about God's timing And I really think that it's important that we go with the flow of things.
Just chill.
Don't you, Dave?
I really do. And you know, it's so important sometimes when we kind of force things a little bit. I mean, if you're like me, and sometimes we try to do it on our own, and then you get out there and you screw up everything really bad, and then you go,
I don't do
God,
that.
you know, and I do. And then you just get down on your knees and you cry that God would just help you, you know, to kind of clean all the mess that you made. You know, so our advice here is it's easy to just go with the flow. Don't be stupid. You know, let God lead your life and just go with the flow.
Right, right. From the beginning, before things get really messed up.
It's like when you raise children, you always want to tell your kids to not do all the stupid stuff that you did when you were young.
Do we ever listen?
Never. Just like they don't. Oh.
Right. Whoops. But yeah, you heard that. That's right.
But here's a lady that really did go with the flow, and she listened to God's heart, calling on her heart, originally from the state of Ohio. It's Cindy Morgan, who went to Nashville and got discovered, and now she's doing great, great music. Let's take a look at another look at Cindy Morgan's bio, followed by Margaret Becker.
Margaret Becker, yes. Keep my mind on you.
Check it out. Victory Videos.
A little fever tapped inside emotion. She was looking for someone who could keep her happy. Two ships collide on different oceans. You know how the story goes, how it's bound to end. Cinderella thinks she's found herself a shining prince. And they'll tell you that the storybook is really true. But it's gonna break their hearts, living in make-believe. Yeah, the one and only storybook is really true. So one that'll change your heart, give you something to believe in.
We've got to recognize the precious gift that lies in front of us, that the opportunity that each day gives and brings, because life isn't about, okay, if I do this and this and this, then I get there. It's about living each day like it was the last one. God has promised us freedom from the chains that bind us, you know. And not just ultimately in heaven, but even here on earth, we can find freedom from all the things that bind us, you know, from all the stuff that gets us down, you know, by really trusting Him.
A wise man, a rich man, in pauper's clothes, a shepherd to lead us through the land of woes. Though many battles I have lost, so many rivers yet to cross, but my eyes behold the Son who bore my loss, and who paid the cost.
someday we're gonna see that we will be free. If wishes did come true and dreams came to life, I'd get a hold of you and never leave your side. But in the black and white, I must live and breathe. I'll never capture you, but you could capture me. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on truth. Keep my mind on the anchor of love that I have found in you. Some steps my feet have taken in hot pursuit have led me to some places far away from you. But if I had my way, if it were up to me, oh, I'd chain myself to you and throw away the key. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on truth. Keep my mind on the anchor of love that I have found in you. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on truth. Keep my mind on the anchor of love that I have found in you. Every little thought, every little dream, every little thing, all of me, all about you, I will stay. Keep my mind, keep my mind, keep my, keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on truth. Keep my mind on the anchor of love that I have found in you. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on you. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on you. Keep my mind on higher things. Keep my mind on truth. Keep my mind on the
Welcome back to Victor Videos. Hope you're enjoying our program, and that was Margaret Becker and Keep My Mind on You. She's really come a long way, too.
Yes.
It's neat to see more female artists coming on the scene, Lavilla.
Yeah, I
like
think so too.
what Cindy Morgan's doing, and Margaret Becker, and so many others.
And our good buddy,
That's
Kelly
right.
Reeson.
Kelly Reeson.
Mhm.
Good for you. Well, we're kind of recapping kind of what we're talking about today is God's timing. And it's so important in God's timing to talk about what timing really is. And the timing is really, God's timing is is about trust.
Yeah.
And trust is what builds relationship. It's what builds relationship. And relationship is what builds balance.
That's
so that
true.
brings me
Balance.
to what we talked about before, balance.
Right. Well, balance is really important in my life. I think that you have to balance. Well, everybody should balance everything. You know, I mean, you have to have just as much prayer and study time as you do recreation time, and you have to balance that with your work and your kids and all that. That is really important. And I think that the more that you do that, and you make sure that that prayer and study time is a vital part of your life, then you build that relationship, and hence comes trust, because you learn more about God's character.
That's right.
Yeah.
And really to kind of cap this off, Lavila, the true balance is to live our life trusting God. And as we learn to do that, God's timing will become clear to us as we live our lives.
That's true, Dave.
So we hope that we've given you something to kind of take home and think about today. Just remember, we're here every week for you. We'd like to hear from you. You can write to us at Victor Videos, 6800 Hazel Court, Florence, Kentucky, 41042. You've got it down. We'd love to hear from you. So if you've got some special videos that you want to write, just tell us, just write to us.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And write to Lavila, too.
Nah, write to Dave.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Until next time, it's Dave Dobbins.
And Lavila Kraft.
Saying, remember to love somebody today with the love of Jesus. Bye-bye.